Well, we used to be called Mulligan's, but there was another Mulligan's pub around the corner, so we changed the name to the Cobblestone. Oscar Wilde, years ago, you've heard of Oscar Wilde, he complained one time about his drinking club had a boxing problem. So, and that's one of his quotations. So we kind of changed that around, and so now we have a drinking pub with a music problem. There is nothing else goes on here other than music, singing, dance, so music all the time. My name is Tom Mulligan. I'm the proprietor here. I've been renting this place since 1987. I'm here maybe 36 years.
My name is Thomas Mulligan. My father is Tom, who runs the Cobblestone. I was born here. I've worked here most of my life, and I formed a band in here called Issartel, and that means the sausages of Ireland.
I used to work for an insurance company that went bust, and I got involved in the pub game by accident really. I was going to emigrate, so when this opportunity came up, I took it. It was a market pub back in those days, open at 7 o'clock in the morning. Could be rough, you know. We didn't do food, we just did drink. There was a pool table out there, there was a dartboard, there was television. So you got a lot of people coming from shift work, from the markets, from in the mid-90s. Square out here was semi-derelict. All the buildings on the right-hand side were demolished and in bad repair. Noticed that they were buying up sites here, and they built the first block of apartments, which is directly behind us. And I said, well, this is time for change. So we said we would go for the Irish music and culture market, mainly because my father had come up from the west of Ireland. He was a fiddle player. He had a great music drive in him. And when he came to Dublin first, there was no place to play music. They used to have to rent a room to go and play music because people were ashamed of it and people didn't have any interest in it. But one of the times he brought me in here, which was the first time I was here, he was meeting some lads who were other musicians. And he brought me in here, so Irish music to me is something that we nearly lost. You know, we lost it because we lost it maybe after the famine, we lost it through emigration, we lost it because it was looked down on when we got our independence from Great Britain. People felt ashamed of speaking the Irish language, they felt ashamed playing music, they felt ashamed to be associated with Irish music. And now on the other hand, we have a different view. We would love to see it encouraged, and with that in mind, that's what we have been doing here for the last near 35, 40 years.
The popularity of Irish music, it's grown a lot among young people. When I was growing up, it wasn't cool. Maybe there was sort of like a post-colonial shame in what Irish music was. We have a very, very rich culture, and it's quite important to keep it going. I know that I'll encourage it. If I'm blessed enough to have a generation that follows me, I will encourage it. I will encourage them to keep it up, because out of it comes creativity. It's not just playing the tunes of the past, it's your interpretation of them and how you carry this on to the future. It's a generational transaction.
So what we're going to do, we're all here to have a good time as well. We are going to march on to O'Connell Bridge, and hopefully, if they will, the mummers at the back there will lead us, and they'll be followed by musicians. Anybody who wants to play a tune while they're walking is absolutely welcome. And we're going to go in there and show them whose city this is. Are we right? Let's go, folks.
I was involved in that because this place is my life. The reason that it is if a place like this shuts down, I can't go to a coffee shop or on the side of the street. We have very little space because it's on the backdrop of property and space in Ireland. It's a necessity, but it's been turned into a commodity, and there's nowhere for people to go, but this place is one of them, and it's in shorter and shorter supply. and while the music is kind of popular and hot at the moment, it needs to be protected.
Well, that came, like when initially the planning permission was put up on the side wall of the pub, which you have to do. You know, I was kind of coming to the end of my natural working life, if you like. And I said, well, maybe I'll retire or something. But my children and their friends said, we're not going to let it. If the cobblestone goes, we have nowhere to go. So they organised the march. I didn't go on the march, but I was blown away by what I saw and witnessed. And because of the march and the subsequent objections to the planning permission, it was turned down on 4 different grounds, one of which is kind of historic in the form that culture was mentioned as one of the reasons for turning it down. And because we have established a culture here, or looked after our own culture here, the planning permission was turned down. It was appealed, and then the day before the appeal was to be decided on, the landlord withdrew his appeal. So we're in a kind of a hiatus here. We've won a battle, but the war is kind of still going on. So the last question the landlord asked me here, which was 4 months ago, do you want to buy the pub? And I said, yes, I do. So we haven't heard from him since then. So
if we lose places like this, if they build hotels on places like this, there's got to be no reason for people to actually come and stay in these hotels.
We have children who are all interested in music, and they all play music, and they have bands, and they're involved. All their friends are all people who are musical as well, and I feel that this is a legacy for them. If we can keep this, if we can buy it, if we can run it as a music pub, like a traditional Irish music pub, then they have a legacy that I'd be proud to hand on, which my father gave to me. So that's our future.
Well, money